lie in my beer. You're the key that got lost. You're the letter from Jesus on the bathroom wall. Your mother's superior with only a bra. You're the same, you're the same, you're the same kind of bad as me. You're the same kind of bad as me.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus September 24th edition. I'm sitting here with the lovely and talented Miss Katie Simone. I mean, this is a privilege to sit and talk about music with somebody who has is so soulful and has such great taste in music. I mean, you know, Katie, you sometimes you really surprise me because, you know, you're all into, you know all about, you know, the great, you know, artists of music like Etta James and the great blues artists and the great jazz artists and classic rock artists like Steely Dan and, you know, Tom Waits and all stuff. And then you're like, oh yeah, Panic at the Disco, I know that. You're like, you know, like modern stuff.
Hey, I'm not proud to know that. I mean, I did graduate high school in 2008, so you couldn't avoid it.
Well, it's very cool to kind of like have that kind of like that arc.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just kind of makes me wonder, and I do know some people that teach that, you know, like Matt Muckle has told me and Corey Congelia have told me, you know, that like they get a lot of students who are like want to learn like a lot of the classic catalog as well as modern stuff too. So, you know, there's hope for it out there, right?
You want to call it that?
Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. It's LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Quick shout out to my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, PPLmag.com. This is Pittsburgh's first internet, radio, TV network, and online community. There's all kind of great information there on from cardiology to how to write and publish your own book, how to become an expert on LinkedIn. There's a podcast called The Barefoot Barrister. The John Pernaris agency has their own thing that can tell you everything about how to deal with the IRS should you have to do that. I hope you don't. But this is a great place to get a lot of great information. There's coupons and a lot of great stuff there. You can even start your own magazine page, write your own articles, upload audio and video, and let the world know what you got going on. They get about 1 million unique visitors each month, so it's a very definitely something you want to check out if you're thinking about getting out there on the internet and getting some attention for yourself. Speaking of attention, the two of us here, Katie and Lou, we're attention whores. So that's why we're musicians, and that wasn't good enough. So we had to go and get a podcast going, you know, because we're just like, me, pay attention to me, I'm so awesome, you know. So, but we've got a great podcast for you tonight, and Katie's going to do most of the talking tonight. Because this is a podcast, the theme of tonight's podcast, or the subject matter, is the first Pretenders album.
That's right.
And I don't know if you will realize that. You know, see, I have a love-hate relationship with Rolling Stone magazine.
I don't really have a love relationship with Rolling Stone magazine.
Well, there's time. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they brought the counterculture and everything that into kind of like the, they were kind of an outlet for that when that was needed an outlet, and but they've become they've become more of a political thing, and I don't think that they understand that like supporting Obama, supporting Hillary Clinton is not counterculture. No. Those guys are mainstream. That's your support, you know. So like I think that's kind of a weird thing. Not that I'm against Obama or Hillary Clinton. It's just that like that if you're really counterculture, it should be F you to anybody who's an authority figure. But in any case, but my point is that they voted this. They did a list of the top 100 debuts of all time, and this ranked around number 35. I don't know how you could put a number on something like this, but this is one of the great debut albums of all time. Absolutely. And I mean, I know I love the Pretenders. I came into noticing them on the second record, though, Pretenders 2, and that was my go-to record, and I'll tell you about that. That's a story about how I ended up buying that record. But so tonight's subject is of interest is going to be the first Pretenders record, and guys, you got to understand. Okay, it was what is it? 1980, Katie?
Yeah, 1980 is when the record itself came out. They started releasing singles around 79.
Okay, so you guys got to understand that. Like, listen to this here.
We
Okay, now I know, in light of a lot of modern music, maybe this sounds kind of tame to some of you kids out there, but it wasn't. I mean, it was really, these guys were really on the edge. This was really passionate music. At the time, you got to understand, they were really super high-polished, super heavily produced acts that were like dominating radio. Acts like Journey, Styx, Boston, Kansas, you know, not to take anything away from that music, but this kind of like brought this sort of like edginess to the mainstream. See, public punk was there, but it didn't really break into the mainstream. It was bands like The Clash, The Pretenders, eventually like U2 a little bit later on, that kind of brought this sort of edginess to the mainstream. And the mainstream really hadn't heard this yet. So it was a real revelation. It was kind of like, you maybe, I don't know if you're too young to remember or not, but in the mid 90s or so, like when Nirvana broke, you got to understand the date that, like the week before Nevermind came out and changed everything. The bands that were on the radio that were super popular were Nelson, Wilson Phillips. Who's the guy? Can't touch this.
MC Hammer.
MC Hammer. Like that was like really big, and then Smells Like Teen Spirit came out. And it sounded, and it was edgy and big and nasty and in your face, and everything changed. Everything, like all of a sudden, people had totally different sensibilities about what great music was. And the Pretenders were 10 years or so before that, 12, 15 years before that. They kind of were on a wave that was sort of doing the same thing. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Really excited. We've got some great rock bands to play, too, speaking of great music, and bands that are coming out and doing some cool stuff. This is a band called Monster Truck, and I'm just going to go ahead and play this. This is called Hey, Katie, Don't Tell Me How to Live.
Hey. I would never tell anybody how to live.
Monster Truck from their album Sittin' Heavy, Don't Tell Me How to Live, on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
I'm a story of a man who makes his way on his own. Don't need no kind of direction from no one. I got myself a pretty old soul. Ain't nobody gonna tell me how to live. I'm a child of a man
Monster Truck. I think they just like melted the headphones to my head. You can go to ilovemonstertruck.com, and Katie, don't hold this against them, but they are on tour with Nickelback. So
Hey, I mean, that's a gig. It's a gig.
Exactly. So anyway, so go to ilovemonstertruck.com and check out what those guys get going. I just think that is just like I just loved it. I don't know. I just did, maybe it's just me, but just heavy rock and roll, in your face, biker rock, cool stuff. Anyway, so we've got, we're talking about Pretenders. The Pretenders, their album's called Pretenders.
That's correct.
And, what do you want to share with us, Katie? Katie is, this is like this was her, suggestion. And, I agreed with it, of course. And, but you have more of a background and more of a history with this record than I do. So why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about it?
Well, I mean, I remember this album came out 10 years before I was even born, so I can't sit there and say that I bought it the day it was released, things like that. But I know, yeah, I got into my time machine, went back in time, and I'm like, this is a cool album, I'm gonna buy it. But see, when I was a kid, the Pretenders kind of had a little bit of a resurgence in the mid-'90s with like "I'll Stand by You," that record.
Oh yeah.
And I remember hearing that song, and I remembered it because I got a little bit older into middle school. Like, I heard something on like VH1 Classic or something, and I believe it was not the next track on here, but the track called "Tattooed Love Boys."
Ooh.
Blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind.
Do you like Tattooed Love Boys?
Who doesn't? But so that's.
Well, let's hear the track that blew Katie's mind here for a second.
The mid-20 doors around her heart's black and blue between love boys. I tore my knees up getting to you 'cause I needed to find out what the thing was for. I've been reading. Man, the time came to explore. I went ain't fire 'cause I thought like I liked it. Little tease, but I didn't mean it. But you mess with the goods, doll, you gotta pay.
So, I mean, when I was growing up in the 90s, I was lucky because, I was exposed to chicks like Liz Phair, Courtney Love, Shirley Manson, Gwen Stefani, like the kind of like, alternative chicks, but none of them like ever affected me like when I first heard that song. So I'm like, okay, who's this chick? I gotta know everything about her. And it was Chrissy Hynde. That was the same chick who did "I'll Stand by You." That song's kind of lame. Like, I can't believe it's the same person. But
let me just sort of like chime in with that, because I think what "I'll Stand by You" shows her range.
Oh, absolutely.
She could croon almost like a Celine Dion-esque sort of type song, and then also do "Tattooed Love Boys."
The thing that I love about Chrissy Hynde, I mean, there's, she's my hero. Like, if anybody asked me, who would you say is like the one person in the world that you would love to be even just like a tiny bit like, I would say Chrissy Hynde, because she's this chick, grew up in Akron, Ohio, in the '60s, and she was just a total misfit. She's like, in one of the articles that we referenced for this podcast, she said, "I was not a normal kid. I was a lousy student, and I didn't date boys. All I wanted to do was go see bands." So she spent her youth learning, Beatles songs and Bob Dylan songs, but then she would also go out and see like Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels or the MC5 or the Stooges because of where she lived in Akron. She was real central to all that music. She decided that, living in the States wasn't for her, so she moved to the UK, become a writer. She ran with Motorhead, she ran with the Sex Pistols, had this crazy life, and then just decided, like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to have my own band, write about my experiences. And I mean, her story is so cool.
I read something about her that when she decided, okay, I'm going to do a band, she was about 24 and thought, maybe I'm too old.
And seriously, that nothing has changed, at least for me. There is a shorter shelf life for female musicians than there are male musicians, at least with popular music. And if anybody's going to sit there and say, "Oh, Katie, you're being ridiculous," you need to shut the F up. But no, I mean, I remember reading this one article, this one interview with her, and Lemmy was like her drinking buddy. Like, they used to just hang out all the time, and she was crying and whining, I want a band. He's like, oh, bitch, go put one together. For God's sakes, crying is not going to do you any good about, doing this, So she put the Pretenders together, Pete Farndon, James Honeyman Scott, and Martin Chambers. I remember from what I heard, she had taken some demo tracks to Nick Lowe, who was a friend of hers at the time. He was just completely blown away by it, and he decided he needed to be involved and produce it. He'd produced Elvis Costello at the time as well, but then I guess he was afraid it wasn't going to do any good.
Let's go ahead and talk about this, because this is the song that's produced by him on the first record.
Yes, it's time for you to stop all of your sobbing. Oh, there's one thing you gotta do to make me still want you. Gotta stop selling out, yeah.
Okay, when that's a little different than Tattooed Love Boys, or The Phone Call, or Space Invader, which are way more punk rock. This has the beginnings of sort of a hint at what she could do with like more of a pop sort of sound.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this record I always thought was like kind of the best showcase for her versatility as an artist, because you can tell whenever you listen to these songs, you can tell this is a girl who was raised on, the Shirelles or the Shangri-Las or the Ronettes, as well as, the Who and the MC5. Just she had this perfect blend of beautiful, poppy, super sweet, almost like a Karen Carpenter tone to her voice, and then just with these big giant balls behind it. No other way
Chick
to describe
balls.
it. Just like testosterone injected badass rock. But I mean, she, in my opinion, nobody ever pulled it off quite like she did.
I'm trying to find you. I don't know if you saw it in your notes, but there's some talk about how they were trying to name the band.
Yeah, so what happened with that, she didn't want it to be the Chrissie Hynde Band, even though she was the primary songwriter, and it was basically her band. But she never wanted to be like a solo artist. She wanted to be a part of a band. She always thought that was the coolest thing, just to, be a part of a group. So from what I heard, there was this biker dude. He was like either a Hell's Angel or something like that. And I guess he was living above a bar or something that she would hang at. And he would sing that old song, The Great Pretender. Like, he didn't think anybody could hear him, but they could. And so that's how they got the name Pretenders, from hearing this dude sing this song to himself.
It's a great song, too. You've got some more on this, or?
You chime in. I've talked enough.
Well, it was a, the band really is, I mean, as much as Chrissie Hynde, it was the sort of driving force behind it, she did surround herself with, I think James Honeyman Scott is specifically, and Pete Farndon as well, but James Honeyman Scott has this really great guitar style.
Absolutely. He's a very, very distinct jangly sound.
Very distinct jangly sound. And there was a sort of hint that he could sort of probably do more, but didn't. Like, kind of, he understood, sort of playing for the song, what's going to work here. And, he wasn't very, I think he's kind of one of those guys that's kind of like underrated. I think if he would not have died when he did, I think you could easily put him in the category of like a Mike Campbell.
Absolutely.
That type of guitar player. It was very sad. And eventually she fired Pete Farndon. They had a romantic relationship, which she kind of felt was ultimately a mistake. But he began, drinking and partying too much, and the story that I heard was he was sort of self-destructing like intentionally playing too loud, intentionally screwing up the songs.
Like
you know,
he wanted out.
Yeah, and it wasn't long after that she asked him to leave that he passed away, and she's been quoted as saying that really since that point on, the Pretenders that she has as they are now is really just kind of a tribute act.
Tribute band.
To those guys.
Chrissy came out with a book about a year ago. It's her autobiography. It's called Reckless. My Life as a Pretender. And the book, not to spoil anybody who hasn't read it, but the book basically ends after the second album, after both James Honeyman Scott and Pete Farndon had passed away. And I've read some interviews with her, and she said that she felt that none of the rest of the story was worth telling.
Well, in this, there's a quote from her in this goldminemag.com. All the ups and downs of subsequent years, Hine has never failed to acknowledge the importance of her former bandmates, as during her speech when the Pretenders were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005. I know that the Pretenders have looked like a tribute band for the past 20 years, she says, and we're paying tribute to James Honeyman Scott and Pete Farndon, without whom we wouldn't be here. And on the other hand, without us, they may not have been here either, but that's the way it works in rock and roll. So the best tribute of all is the Pretenders album itself, a classic piece of rock and roll that really has stood the test of time. Is there anything you want to add, Katie?
Oh, I mean, that says it pretty much. Says it better than I could.
Says it better than you could. Okay, from the lady herself, the queen. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you listen to what was the track we were talking about on the Jimi Hendrix tribute?
They did a cover of Bold as Love.
Yeah, and that's another track where it really shows her range. She took that sort of FU sort of kind of style of singing, and she kind of said no, I can sing really sing a song straight up, and she does Bold as Love, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's as beautiful as anything, but it still has that great soul that she brings to everything.
Absolutely. And there's a box set that came out about 10 years ago called Pirate Radio. It's I think a 4-disc set. There's some really cool unreleased just kind of odds and ends, some cover tunes. She did a cover of a song by a British singer named Sandy Shaw. It's called Girl Don't Come, and Sandy Shaw was kind of like a Petula Clark or a Dusty Springfield type of singer. So I mean, if you can get that idea in your head, check it out on YouTube. Pretenders Girl Don't Come. It just shows Chrissy singing in a way that I don't think people realize she could sing. I mean, she's done tracks on Burt Bacharach tribute albums. I mean, just the stuff that you would never expect. Yeah. I've heard her do, jazz standards. She did a cover of I Wish You Love. Nancy Wilson was really famous for doing that. I mean, just you would not expect it from the, ballsy rock chick that she's been painted up to be, which she certainly is.
Of course. And I think though that there are certain tracks on Pretenders that sort of give us a preview of where she might be going, and of course the big hit, the song that really kind of
got this in pocket.
She hates this song.
I'm gonna use it. Intention. Feeling mental. Gonna make you notice. Got motion.
It's very soulful.
Oh, very.
I mean, that's
soulful.
Almost like a Motown type song.
Yeah, I mean the background vocals are kind of almost like a Jay Giles kind of thing.
Yeah, there's some great stuff on this, and and I understand. I mean, I've often Stu and I've actually talked about do you think the Stones are tired of playing Satisfaction? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so it's when it's your biggest song, and maybe you wrote it not as a throwaway. Maybe you thought something like Tattooed Love Boys or Up the Neck or more of a serious song, and you do something like this and that, and that's invariably what happens with a lot of artists. Something that they did as a kind of just to do something different becomes really big. This was and for those of you who don't remember MTV, this ended up being a big video on MTV, and did you ever see the video?
Yeah, she's in the waitress outfit.
She's the waitress outfit.
she was a waitress for a very long time, and she, had actually written about that in certain songs.
And I remember me and my friend Steve Guthrie, I'd go over to his house because we didn't have cable at the time. I go over to his house, and that video would come on, and we were like, that is the hottest freaking waitress. Why aren't there waitresses really like that? I just love that, and I don't think we should stop until we do a little bit of this right here.
I was going to say, this is
one of my.
This is how you close an album.
Yeah. Great bass. Playing with a pick, real edgy.
Oh yeah.
Great riff, Mystery Achievement, and that does close out the album. On that. So anyways, let's go ahead and and if Katie, if something comes up and you want to talk a little bit more about this when we come back, we can do that. In the meantime, let's go ahead and play Alex Vann's from his album Buy American Volume 1. Bored to Death. Alex Vann's on the Loudini Rock and Roll Circus.
I never thought I'd hear those words again. I thought you were my friends, but the cycle never ends. Why can't I get you through the door? Come on, step it on the floor. No, we can't hear you anymore. Why don't you listen to yourself? Is it better for your health? Don't be a slave to your own wealth. Just pay the cover at the door and shoot your leg out on the floor. You don't know what we got in store. We come to meet out your demands. We come for your left hand. It's a never-ending curse. We're here to satisfy your thirst. We're gonna play it till it hurts. Don't you go running for the door. It's gonna hit you in the core. We'll have you coming back for more. Yeah. We come to meet out your demands. We
Oh my God!
I don't think I'm gonna do anymore.
All right, that's Alex Vans, Bored to Death from American something. By American, Volume 1. Let's go ahead and pump their website for them. Give you guys the website real quick. That is. Okay, that is. Oh, why is that thing in front of me? Go. Evernote's messing with me. AlexVansMusic.com, and the albums and everything are there. Go check it out. I did interview Alex. He's a very interesting guy. Cut his teeth as a cruise ship performer. He would do the after hours thing, and he told me, he said, Lou, the thing that it taught me was it taught me to be an entertainer.
Absolutely.
And if you look up any of the stuff online, you see he's kind of like a rock and roll punky kind of guy, but he's all about like entertainment. He's a really, really interesting dude. But AlexVansMusic.com. Okay, and so The Pretenders. I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's a great record and really deserving of all the accolades, I believe, that it has.
Absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, they have a new album coming out very soon. Chrissy Hynde she did a solo album, a couple solo albums actually within the last couple of years, which were very, very cool. But she's reunited the Pretenders. She's, I believe, hired Martin Chambers back after she fired him.
Wait, I think you told me she's
fired.
Fired him a couple times.
Like seriously, this is this is something to really appreciate. Front woman and her drummer stuck together for the most part for 40 years almost. But I mean, she had to lay the almost. I mean, if you think like late 70s when they got together, she had to can them a couple of times. But other than that, they've stuck together. But yeah, no, they have a new album coming out, and they're also doing a tour with Stevie Nicks. They're opening for Stevie Nicks.
See, I think that Stevie Nicks should open for her, but that's
I agree, and I don't think the Pretenders should ever have to open for anybody. Maybe the Stones, but other than that, yeah, no, I mean, great live band. I've had the pleasure of seeing them many, many times, and even meeting Chrissy Hynde. She hates everybody, but she liked me. She gave me her guitar pick, so.
Aww.
That totally changed the 15-year-old Katie for good and for bad. I mean, I'm screwed now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's if you want to throw in any more Pretender stuff later, you can. But in the meantime, let's talk a little bit about what has happened this day in music.
Oh, this is nice.
Yes. Request and dedication hour. All the way from St. Louis.
You can't see, but I'm swaying right now.
John would like to dedicate this song to his fiancée, Sally.
Those crazy kids.
Delilah. Do you ever listen to Delilah?
Delilah.
Yeah, she does the whole romantic stories at night. But yeah, the association got on the radio, and they had like a big run with this 66 sort of 3-week run at number 1. 3 weeks at number. Do songs ever stay at number 1 for 3 weeks anymore?
I mean,
number 1. Not it was on the charts for 3 weeks.
It stayed at number 1.
Stayed at number 1. The guy that wrote this song, Terry Kirkman, was offered to sell this song for $1,000, and he held on to it. Smart guy. Yeah. They finished
that. That wasn't a bad move.
Now check this out. They finished recording. Finished recording plays for 3 minutes and 25 seconds, but the singles label at the time said 3 minutes, so the DJs wouldn't be discouraged from playing a quote unquote long song. I know, crazy, isn't it? You know what I mean? Oh, jeez.
That is too funny.
Let's see. What's a good one here? Let's tell a good story. Tell a good story. Let's tell a good story.
What did Mr. Hendrix do?
Oh, James Marshall Hendrix.
In 1966, Jimi Hendrix arrived in London with manager Chaz Chandler. There's a typo. They didn't capitalize his last name. Can you tell I've done editing before? On a flight from New York City with only the clothes he was wearing, Hendrix had sold his other belongings to pay a hotel bill in New York. One of the first things he does after arriving in England, legally change his name from James to Jimmy. So that happened on This Day in Music in 1966.
And what band was Chaz Chandler in?
I don't know.
Oh, yes, you do. They're really famous, yeah.
They were famous. They were
The
quite
Animals, maybe. Let me do a quick.
famous. Chaz Chandler.
Let me look it up. I'm almost positive he was a English musician and original bassist for
The Animals.
The Animals.
Mhm.
The Animals. Original bassist for the Animals. So.
Well, that's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Yep. So Chaz, he was like he brought Hendrix to the UK, and that's really where Hendrix broke.
Right.
Was in the UK. That's what kind of like when he got over there. That's when things really turned around for him. He really was having trouble. He was kind of a side man in the United States.
Yeah, he was playing for like Wilson Pickett and dudes like that.
This is a song I don't know. Tell me if you know this song. I don't know this song, but
This isn't the Christopher Cross song.
no, it isn't. This is a Rod Stewart song that he had a hit with. It was from a film, and because it got featured in this film,
Okay.
I think
I've heard it.
Yeah,
I've heard it because I have like a slightly unhealthy obsession with Rod Stewart. So.
but let's see what happened. He went to number 1 in the UK singles chart for saying the song became a hit after it was used in a television documentary series. So, the power of TV even back then. Are you a Billy Joel fan at all?
Who isn't? And if you're not, you can fight me.
This was a big hit. I remember this record came out.
Listen, boy, I don't want to see you let a good thing slip away.
This album was sort of like a tribute to Billy's interest in music from the 50s and doo-wop and stuff. But went to number 1 in the U.S. singles charts in 1983 with Tell Her About It, the former boxer's second number 1 and number 4 hit in the UK. I forgot to put this one in, but we can listen to Billy Joel and talk about this.
1984, Culture Club had their second UK number 1 single with Karma Chameleon, which stayed at the top of the charts for 6 weeks and became the best-selling single of 1983. The harmonica part was played by Judd Lander, who had been a member of Mercy Beat group The Hideaways in the 60s.
Ah, nice.
Karma Chameleon.
Yeah, great song, huh?
I mean, Culture Club had some cool tunes.
Yeah. I mean, like very sort of like good, like Blue-Eyed Soul kind of music. You know what I mean? I was reading. I can't remember what article I was reading. I don't know if it was in the preparation for the Pretenders thing or something. But some critic was talking about like how in the '80s music. Well, because people became so obsessed with how people looked that. And what the video looked like, and did you see so-and-so's video? That like the music really kind of started to take a second.
Absolutely.
And some bands actually were doing very cool music, but their image, and I think Culture Club is an example of this, because of their image, their music almost got marginalized. People almost forgot.
Exactly.
What great music. Like I think Wham and Culture Club are two bands that like did really good like Blue-Eyed Soul stuff, but people were so focused on the image and the videos and stuff like that it kind of got lost.
I would say even like for somebody like a singer like Cyndi Lauper, who in my opinion has insane chops, is an incredible vocalist.
Oh yeah.
I feel like people just kind of didn't take her seriously because she looked like a Rainbow Bright doll. I mean, and that it was awesome. It was super cool. But I mean, yeah, the video killed the radio star.
You are a you know who Linda Eastman is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, was Linda Eastman McCartney's birthday today, and I'd like to wish her a happy birthday. And I discovered this born in 1942. This is a cool record. This is a Nashville tribute to Linda McCartney. I discovered this purely by accident last week. I was just screwing around on Spotify, and I discovered this. And there's some very cool stuff on. This is She Daisy doing With a Little Luck, and a lot of Timothy B. Schmidt is on here, and Phil Vassar, and some cool people like that. It's a very cool record. I would Ricky Skaggs, and it's a fun record. Do you know this song?
How could you not?
I think Tom plays it sometimes.
Tom plays it, yeah. The band that we were in called JJ Burner, we did a lot of surf stuff, surf instrumentals. And I'd go into the back and just take shots out of my flask while I played them. What else was I supposed to do?
Born on
I was
this
a singer.
day Born on this day, Mel Taylor, drums for the Ventures.
Yeah. Oh, can I mention something? I don't think you have the song on the playlist, though. I love the song.
What is it?
Well, in 1942, Jerry Marsden of Jerry and the Pacemakers was born on this day.
Are you kidding? Whoa.
Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying. Do you have it? Yes, oh, you do.
Of course.
I love this song.
I'm a sucker for like 50s and 60s music sometimes.
It's such a beautiful song.
Tonight's the time for all your tears. Your heart may be broken tonight.
Well, wait a minute. We got a birthday with these guys, too.
These
You
gals.
went away and you hung around and bothered me every night. And when I wouldn't go out with you, you said things that weren't very nice. My boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey la, my boyfriend's back. See him coming, better cut out on the double.
All right, and go ahead.
1940, born on this day, Barbara Albert of the Angels. 1963 U.S. number 1 and UK number 50 single, My Boyfriend's Back. They were the first white girl group to have a U.S. number 1 hit.
Wow, yeah, how about that? So, anything, so Linda McCartney, the Jerry and the Pacemakers, and then we've got a birthday. Oh, we should just do this because...
Let me go get my flannel.
You're not wearing a flannel dress tonight. I'm very disappointed. But we do have a Pearl Jam related birthday here. As soon as I can see it.
Yes, in 19...
You see it?
Where?
My brain isn't. My mind is not like. I'm not seeing it.
Did you put this on here by accident?
Maybe I did. Maybe did.
Because I'm seeing Jerry Donahue of Fairport Convention was born on this day. Sean Clown, apparently his name is. He was in what? Oh, Slipknot. Okay.
Anyways, so happy birthday to somebody in Pearl Jam because we don't know what's going on here. This could have been an accident. I could have sworn
it may actually not be anybody in Pearl Jam's birthday, but I mean, whatever.
I don't know what I was thinking. I must have had
Was this song released or something at some point on this day?
Oh, here it is.
Okay,
Here's
so
what
we're
it is.
backtracking.
Yeah, I backtrack. Okay, this day in music, 1997. Barry Lucatus was convicted of shooting and killing two pupils, not the thing in your eye, and a teacher at a school in Washington. His defense team claimed that he had copied scenes from Pearl Jam's video to Jeremy.
Oh man.
Oh, lame. You're a wanker.
That's
You're a wanker.
That would be that should be like a subject of one of our podcasts about the subliminal messages and stuff like that.
Okay, we can do something like that.
In rock and roll.
Yeah, we can do something like that.
All
Anyways,
these weirdos thinking that rock and roll videos are telling them to do bad things.
I know. We're gonna wrap up when we come back here. Got one more artist to play. Deb Callahan. Met Deb about a year ago. Very cool soul and blues artist. This is a track off her album called Sweet Soul. This is Shacking Up.
Smoking fire and your kisses were
Okay, everybody. Deb Callahan with Shacking Up. You never did any shacking up, did you?
Lady Never Tells.
No kissing and telling, huh?
Backing up, shacking up's all you want.
Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, let's go ahead and this is the so what do you have going on this week? The 24th onward, so that your lovely fans can know about. I don't really have much going on. We've got more interviews up, so you guys want to check that out. LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. So go ahead and tell the kids at home, Katie, where they can come and see you in the flesh.
In the flesh. Well, you can always check out my website at KatieSimoneMusic.com. I've got a lot of gigs coming up. I think the one of note to mention is October 8th. I will be in Akron, Ohio. I know, hit the big time, baby, tri-state area. But no, it's pretty cool. I landed a gig singing backing vocals with a Pink Floyd tribute band called Floyd the Tribute. They're based out of Ohio, and that'll be my first gig with them at the Empire Concert Club in Akron. So they're an amazing band with a full production light show, and I think it's about a 10-piece band, including 2 backing vocalists, one of which is me, and I'm singing the lead on Great Gig in the Sky.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's happening on October 8th. You can check out my website at KatieSimoneMusic.com. You can see me play with several different bands around the Pittsburgh area.
Ridgemont High, Tom and Katie show.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Dancing Queen.
That's right. You're still working with Dancing Queen?
I do some gigs with Dancing Queen occasionally. I actually was with them last night at Jerigel's.
Nice.
And actually, the Halloween weekend's going to be really fun because Friday night I'm playing with Dancing Queen in the South Hills, the Linden Grove. And then Saturday, the 29th, I'm playing with Ridgemont High in Ligonier at this place called the Wicked Googly. So I'm going to be wearing all kinds of crazy costumes that weekend.
Awesome. All right, guys. And what is that? What is your website again?
www.KatieSimoneMusic.com.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. That's LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. Real quick shout out one more time to my sponsor. Oh, who did that? Katie, shame on you. Katie. Like,
What are you
my goodness. What's wrong with you? Woo! What did you have for breakfast this morning? Wow. Beer and eggs. The breakfast of farting champions around the world.
What app was that?
It's called the Fart app. I highly recommend it to you. So the podcast will soon be sponsored also by the Fart app. So I've been meaning to get that out for past few podcasts. I keep forgetting to do it. So, and I didn't want to do it while you were announcing your gigs because I'm kind of like a jerk. So anyway,
how old am I?
I know. I don't know. I don't know any musician that has a maturity level over 14. So. Anyways, real quickly, one more time, my sponsor, Positively Pittsburgh Live Magazine, pplmag.com, LoudiniRockandRollCircus.com. If you like what we do, I highly would love it if you'd go to supportindyrock.com and throw us a little swag and help us keep doing what we're doing. Supportindyrock.com. Guys, you've been listening to Loudini Rock and Roll Circus. Thanks, guys, so much for listening. We are going to get out of here. We really appreciate it. And hope you enjoyed the featurette there on Pretenders. And we've got some great ones coming up for you in the future. Guys, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you soon.
Good night.
They told me you were no good. I know you take care of all my needs. You're the same kind of bad as me. I'm the mattress in the back. I'm the old gunny sack. I'm the one with the gun, most likely